Lamont Roach's brother shocked the press conference when he stormed the stage after Gervonta Davis insulted their family. Speaking with passion, he declared that they don't tolerate disrespect. Their background, he said, is rooted in pride and unity, where hatred is never swallowed quietly. Instead, they confront it head-on, standing together to defend the honor of their name.
They can't do what we do. They can't do what he do. If they did, they'd be doing it. They just on their phone, at home, sitting on their ass.
That is so true. So you box too?
Yes.
Gervonta Davis escalated the tension by ruthlessly mocking Lamont Roach's family, especially his father. Laughing during the press conference, Davis remarked, "Man, his pops was up there shaking on the mic. My kids, I'm watching him." He claimed Roach's father was trembling and mocked Lamont for denying it. Davis painted both father and son as incapable of handling the spotlight, adding fuel to an already fiery rivalry.
His father was up here shaking on the what's the name? He was shaking on the
pops.
On the shakeout. On my kids, he was shaking on this thing. On my kids, he was shaking.
Don't say, bro.
That's cap. What I'm about to say?
How you gonna say it's cap? And
how
you gonna say it's cap? I'm watching them.
Jordan, Lamont Roach's brother, voiced unwavering belief in his sibling. He said he's watched Lamont train tirelessly, day and night, with the kind of dedication only champions possess. No matter what critics say, Jordan is confident that Lamont's focus and relentless hard work will speak louder than words. He believed the outcome is clear. Victory is coming.
Speaking of Big Bro, man, he's got a big fight coming up March 1st, man. Barclays Center, Brooklyn. I will be in the house against Tank Davis, man. How excited are you for that fight?
I'm excited to, be brothers with the new face of boxing. So I'm very excited.
So obviously you see little Big Bro coming out with the upset. A lot of people are going to pick Tank going into that fight, but how do you see that playing out?
I see my brother walking out victorious. So there's no doubt. Not because that's my brother, but because I've seen him in the gym.
Lamont Roach approaches a rematch with a grounded confidence that comes from experience. In their first fight, he managed to frustrate Gervonta Davis, something few fighters can claim. Roach used angles, sharp counters, and absorbed power shots in ways that disrupted Tank's usual rhythm. Now, he's not just hoping for a different result. He's acting on data, dissecting Tank's fight mechanics with a strategic mindset forged in the ring itself.
For them, especially the ones who don't know about boxing, you can suck it. I really don't care. In all honesty, even though I'm going to try to knock his head off from 1 to 12, I think it's going to go the distance. But if I hit him clean, we're going to see if he can.
Roach steps in not as an outsider, but as someone deeply immersed in boxing culture. Raised in Baltimore's fight scene, he developed a sharp boxing intellect and gritty resilience. His time in the ring with Davis gave him first-hand experience of how Tank responds under pressure. Insight that could tip the scales in this high-stakes rematch.
I feel like you got a certain confidence about this fight that I've interviewed a few different Tank opponents. And everybody gonna say like, yeah, everybody say this and that's what you're supposed to say, right? Like I'm going into a fight. I don't think people thinking they're gonna lose, but it just feels like you have a different confidence than most other people. Where do you feel like that comes from?
That's just how I'm wired, bro. I ain't never backed down from nothing. I damn sure ain't never wanted to come second to anything. So why would it change here?
Roach didn't rest. He returned to the gym with urgency. There was no celebration, only analysis. He treated the fight as a blueprint for improvement. Conditioning, timing, and adaptability became his obsession. Meanwhile, Davis's team also acknowledged the first bout was tighter than expected. Both camps are now preparing with heightened intensity, fully aware that mistakes from the past can't be repeated.
Tank, he has more confidence now than he did before, and he felt that he was robbed. So he's going to be on one. I think the rematch is going to be far more exciting.
This fight has evolved beyond a rematch. It's now a defining rivalry. Roach changed the narrative by refusing to fold under pressure, by going the distance and standing tall against Davis. He shattered the myth that Tank steamrolls everyone. That resilience earned him a new level of respect and made this rematch must-watch material.
Understand a way to beat or frustrate Tank in a way that others don't. You know what I mean? Like, has he just found it, so to speak? Like, I have a lot I want to find out after that, because the first fight was so controversial. I think leaving it up to a draw is fine, whatever, even though under the letter of the law, Tank probably should have lost this fight, and probably would have if they counted the knockdown when he took a knee. He blamed it on grease. On Roach a real shot, even though I still would say Tank figures it out and gets it done and takes it more seriously this time.
Yeah, I think that because they're so familiar with each other, like these guys fought each other when they were kids. And then Lamont Roach comes into the ring, and listen, regardless, like Lamont Roach came in there and he was confident. And I don't think a lot of people believed that he was going to be able to get it done against Tank. People thought that Tank was going to knock him out. Here's the thing, though. Tank is actually super skilled. Like, he doesn't throw a lot. When he does, he's extremely accurate, but he does have skill. And what he does is he reels in his fighters, and he ends up landing big shots on them that end up knocking his opponent out. I think Tank didn't look like Tank.
Praise from someone like Shakur Stevenson carries weight. Known for his honesty and sharp boxing IQ, Stevenson acknowledged Roach's grit, defense, and timing. These are the qualities that win fights, but rarely show up in highlight reels. His words validated Roach as more than contender. He sees him as a legitimate threat. With such backing, expectations for this rematch have skyrocketed.
One of the handful of people to pick Lamont Roach, giving him a tough fight. What do you think? I think it's dangerous for him to go back in there and fight Lamont. I think Lamont is a hell of a fighter. I can see that going left. So he better be on his A game.
Reception, representing the broader boxing community. Garcia said Roach's performance was no fluke. He proved he belongs on the big stage. All eyes are now on Davis. The pressure is on him to show growth, discipline, and resolve. If he fails to dominate, critics will question his consistency. Roach, meanwhile, enters with momentum and growing support.
Fight again. Sometimes not a loss, but something like this, a blemish, might get you back.
It can. You know, it's all up to Tank. It's all about how he feels inside, internally. I think, for him, it's a lot to do up here too, like all of us. But I think that's what you're going to get from Roach. That's what you're going to get at Roach every time, I think. I think it's up to Tank to see, what type of, how far he could go up.
How old is your oldest child?
It's a potential career changer. A win would elevate him from respected underdog to elite-level fighter. It would silence doubters, attract new fans, and unlock major opportunities. That's why every day of his training is treated like fight night. The diet is cleaner, the focus sharper, and the strategy more refined. This is about legacy, not just a paycheck.
The Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach rematch is being targeted for June 21st in Las Vegas. Now, it's good that they're running it back without wasting any time, because Roach absolutely deserves a rematch. I mean, I thought he outboxed Tank the last time around. He came up a division as a gigantic 10-1 underdog, and he was the one on the front foot, landing his jab, the body shots, the combinations, throwing a lot more volume. I had it 7-5 Roach, and the no knockdown in round 9 was the reason it was a draw. If that knockdown was scored, that would have been a decision for Roach. But with all that being said, I do like Tank a lot more in the rematch. I thought he fought way too much on the back foot in the first fight, especially the first few rounds. He would land 1 or 2 punches per round, but as he started becoming the aggressor in the later rounds, he kept landing a lot more left hands and body shots. So Tank just needs to make this a dogfight, get into more exchanges, and that's where he'll land a lot more punches on Roach. When he's sitting on the back foot waiting for a counter, that's where Roach is comfortable and winning most of the rounds. So if Tank can fight the same way he did against Ryan Garcia, rounds 3 to 7, against Mario Barrios in the later rounds, or Frank Martin round 4 to 8, if he's the one on the front foot, then I do think he'll stop Roach in the rematch.
Shared insight into how Tank Davis and his team approached the first fight. He revealed they were cautious from the start, knowing Lamont was an easy opponent. Davis didn't eagerly chase the match. It happened due to promotional pressure. That fact alone shows the kind of quiet threat Roach has always posed. Now, with the world watching, the tension is even greater.
In camp, so knowing the coaches, they knowing us, it's both ways. It ain't just our way, coming from both sides. So, but no, was I shocked? No. I think Tank tried to tell y'all. Calvin tried to tell y'all, Burry tried to tell y'all, but they didn't want to hear it. They just so stuck on trying to force Tank to fight who they want him to fight. And it don't work like that. You know what I'm saying? So it just was made for a great fight. So people need to just sit back and get ready for part 2.
It's gonna be epic, man. I can't wait for part 2, man. Do you got anything to say to the fans, about part 2, about anything that you got going on coming up, social media, anything?
No, I just say get ready, man. Put your seatbelts on, and when this thing happen, man, make sure y'all support. Come to the fight, buy the fight, and be the biggest fan, cheering whoever you're cheering for, no matter. But you're gonna see another great performance by the Reaper, man. Reaper ain't playing. He got a big bag, like you said, big 2 bag.
What do you think the difference would be, though?
You're gonna see the difference. I mean, I believe we won a fight. Nobody can tell us different. The majority of the world believe we want to fight. So you're gonna see. Both of them gonna raise their level. Both of them. So yeah, they're gonna make for a greater fight. But
still, energy of historic rivalries like Tyson versus Holyfield. In both stories, a dominant favorite faces an underestimated opponent with hidden strengths. Just like Holyfield, Roach brings an unshakable mental toughness, one that's often dismissed until it's too late.
Face off against one another. One guy was a massive favorite, had taken a loss, and was seen to be too small, right? And I'm talking about Evander Holyfield versus Iron Mike Tyson. Iron Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield was a major fight. A major fight. But Iron Mike Tyson was viewed as a destroyer. Okay? He was the baddest man on the planet. He was indestructible. The fact that he lost to James Buster Douglas was an anomaly because Mike Tyson was with Gervonta Tank Davis and Lamont Roach. It's eerie similar. Lamont Roach coming up in weight, seen to be too small. Lamont Roach opened up as a 25-1 underdog. Lamont Roach, they had history. Mike Tyson and Holyfield had history. Now, they didn't fight in the amateurs, but they had sparring history, and it was said that Holyfield got the best of him in sparring, but they had some good sparring sessions, right? Now, Lamont Roach didn't get the victory, but he frustrated Tank Davis, and we never seen Tank Davis look like that in the fight. He hit him with a shoulder bar. He tried to bite him at one point in time in the 6th round. He took a ill-advised knee and didn't get counted in the 9th round, right?
And by brute force, he's aiming to outthink and outlast. The comparisons to legendary matchups aren't made lightly. The emotional stakes and contrasting styles are giving this rematch the feel of a classic. For fans, it's starting to feel like one of those fights that could define an era.
He never truly hurt Lamont Roach, hit him with good, clean punches, but never got hurt. Lamont Roach ate the punches, similar to Holyfield, where we seen him get hit with some big punches from Mike Tyson, but weathered the storm. But he visibly hurt Mike Tyson more than Mike Tyson hurt him. And it was shocking. And this, because of the Holyfield-Mike Tyson situation, it makes the Lamont Roach Tank Davis fight that much bigger. Reason being is the intrigue now, because that's the most recent situation that you can compare to with high-profile fighters, right?
Joe Rogan added further depth with his breakdown of Roach's performance. He pointed out that Roach didn't just survive Tank's power, he adapted. Where most fighters collapse or lose focus, Roach stayed composed. Rogan said that calmness under fire, combined with tactical intelligence, is rare. It's also the reason many now believe Roach has a real shot at victory. Even Team Davis admits they must tighten their game, because Roach exposed flaws that can't be ignored.
What do you think the biggest surprise was in the fight?
It wasn't a surprise because we know Roach. It wasn't a surprise. Roach can fight. A lot of people think because a person is not popular, that they don't exist. There's fighters out there that can rumble. They just got to get the opportunity, you know?
Speaking of rematches, Jalil Hackett is getting his opportunity again to fight the guy that he had a controversial loss to. It'll be happening in Florida, I think, next week?
March 15th, I think.
Let's talk about
I'm rocking a major shirt now.
Major.
Yes, sir.
Tell me, how's that rematch look like, and then what's the difference makers coming into this fight?
The first fight, I thought, everybody thought Jalil won. We just got to turn, hit the gears a little harder. We ain't really got to change too much. Just got to put the icing on the cake, Put the icing on the cake this time, that's all. He did enough to win the last fight, but we was in somebody else's territory,
This time around, being in Florida, do you feel like it's a mutual zone?
Yeah. It's more of an even playing field in Florida.
Okay. Do you feel like he needs a stoppage to win the fight due to what happened the first time?
Not necessarily a stoppage. A stoppage is good, but not necessarily. You just got to put that.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next time.
Video. The tension, history, and rising